I've taken well over 100 e-bikes and personal electric vehicles up this hill over the past few years, and it's taught me quite a bit of information that if I was looking to buy an electric bike or e-scooter, I'd want to know. So keep watching so you don't fall into the traps that many have before you. Here are some things you need to know before you make that expensive purchase.
So first let's talk about this hill. It does start fairly steep, and a lot of faster e-bikes can get a bit of a run up, but it's a longish hill for a residential area, and when you get to what we call the fat tree over there, this is where it gets to its steepest. It's still not mega steep. There are loads of hills steeper than this, but it's still not a hill that you'd ever want to cycle up. It's not really a hill you'd want to cycle down. It's 32 miles per hour without pedalling. Actually, no, you would. It's a lot of fun, but it's very dangerous. But it's extra dangerous if you do it on a skateboard. It's also dangerous on a push scooter that doesn't have very good brakes. I'm pushing max on the brake here.
So let's jump in and find out all the things that I've learned about going up the hill.
When a bike says it's a certain wattage, you need to realise that it doesn't actually mean the bike is more powerful.
I was sent an e-bike from Joyor that was billed as being 1,500 watts. I was all set to have my mind blown, but it remained very much intact with its pretty slow hill climb time.
This is weird. Is it broken?
The reason, the motor was indeed rated at 1,500 watts. This means it can handle 1,500 watts being pushed through it for long periods of time. But the combination of the 48 volt battery and the 13 amp controller meant the bike was actually only pushing 624 watts through the motor. So be wary of the wattage that brands advertise.
You can't always trust the torque statistics given by manufacturers.
Similar to brands' advertised wattages, torque figures can also be misleading. Only this time, I actually have no idea how they come up with them.
This bike should do really well up this hill because they say it's got a torque of 100 Newton meters, more than the Lankeleisi X3000 Max. This bike. Let's see if this 100 Newton meter bike is going to make it the hill. No, it's not. Your average real 250 watt motor that isn't very powerful will not get you up this hill. But if you're decent at pedaling, you can get up a hill on a 250 watt standard motor a lot easier than you can with no power at all.
But what do I mean by a real 250 watt e-bike? Well, we'll talk about this later in the video. In the meantime, let us know how hilly your area is in the comments. What's the steepest hill you've tackled? And hit that like button as it helps this video reach more people. And that brings us to this week's sponsor, me! I've bought an old Range Rover as a work car and I've set up a new channel all about it. So if you like Range Rovers or even cars or just want to see a bit more me, then check out the e-VRC. There's a link in the description and the pinned comment. Back to the video.
You also can't trust manufacturers grading, where they talk about how steep the hills are that these e-scooters or e-bikes can get up. Many e-scooter and e-bike brands will talk about their vehicle being able to get up 30% gradient hills, whereas in reality, this hill is barely 10% at its steepest, and a lot of e-scooters still can't get up, even ones that are meant to be really powerful.
The Wheel, wow, that's a terrible name, GT2, with its chunky 11-inch off-road tyres, powerful 800 watt motor that could well be 1,000 if it's the same scooter as the iScooter iX6. It can carry a max load of 150 kilograms and also can make it up a 35% slope. Rah!
Past the penis post. 2.7. No, there we go. No, that's it. Oh. Just because an e-bike is limited does not mean it can't get up hills. Some e-bike manufacturers rate their motors at 250 watts, but really they're probably capable of a lot more than that.
That's to get through those EU laws. This is okay though, as motors are self-certified, but don't expect these motors to fail at hill climbing just because it says 250 watts on the website. Check out the battery. Is it 48 volts or more? And their torque figures. Yes, they are not totally trustworthy, but they do give an indication of what the brand thinks the bike can do.
So when they are locked to be legal and only go at 15.5, yes, they're only going to go at 15.5, but they still got the torque and the power to get up a hill like that.
Good examples of these bikes are Cyrusher's Komodo 3.0 and the Rumble.
Conversely, it does mean though that some brands will say their bikes are 500, 750 watts, but they've just not bothered locking it, and they're not as powerful as other brands that say their bikes are 250 watts.
Max or Pro doesn't always mean more powerful. And the iScooter i9 Max with, and I quote, our new powerful 500 watt motor that delivers responsive acceleration and superior hill climbing ability. Only it doesn't. The i9 got here, but the new powerful i9 Max only got here.
This is the famed penis post, the first obstacle to get past on the hill. I think a couple of e-bikes have only just made it past, but no e-bikes have ever failed to get past it.
All things being equal, smaller wheels do better up hills than large wheels. One of the reasons the i9 made it further up the hill is possibly due to its slightly smaller wheels. Smaller wheels means better torque, acceleration and also range, whereas larger wheels usually mean better top speed, with everything else being equal.
Go. Right, it's bad. Oh, I had to stop. It's just ridiculous. It feels wobbly. I'm not even on 100%. I'm trying to be brave. This is the start point. I always start with the front wheel there, which is right next to this allotment.
Mid-drive motors can be super fast up hills. That's because instead of helping the wheels go round like hub motors, they actually help you pedal. This means just like your legs, the mid-drive motor benefits from gears. So if the motor is struggling, switch down a gear and the mid-drive motor will love you for it.
Okay, this is definitely the fastest e-bike that's been up here, it's got to be.
Dual motor e-bikes don't always climb faster than single motor, but they usually do. There are some super powerful single motor e-bikes that have beaten some dual motor e-bikes up the hill. However, it took two bikes with 1,500 watt single motors and big batteries to beat the slowest of the dual motor e-bikes. So, as promised, how do you spot the e-bikes that will be decent hill climbers? Well, the e-bikes that have made it up the hill all have batteries with 48 volts or more. The Pivi Z20 Max is the only 36 volt e-bike to have made it up the hill without any pedaling. All other 36 volt bikes failed to get up the hill. 36 volts basically means legal without a shadow of a doubt, not a grey area in sight. 250 watts, definitely weak motor. As long as the bike isn't easily unlockable, that is, as 250 watt motors can still get people up to about 20 miles per hour on the flat if they're not locked down. You will need to help to get these bikes up a steep hill. There have been 48 volt e-bikes to not make it up the hill, but most of them do.
Struggling, you can't get up there. See, it couldn't get up that hill. It would if you rode. Like if you pedalled, you'd be able to get up. A telegraph pole.
Oh my gosh, so it stopped.
So it stops at the telegraph.
Frame styles that are easier to pedal up hills without motors will still be easier with motors too. So if you have a lot of hills in your area, but you're buying a 36 volt legal e-bike, you'll have a much easier time on a road or mountain bike than you would on a moped style bike that isn't great to pedal because you sit too low.
The problem is now, we don't actually have gears, so we need the motor to kick in. Oh God, I've got that. Kick in, motor, kick in. You don't like it, it's pulling itself off the rear chain. Oh, here we go, it's kicked in now. Did you hear that? That's terrible.
And I'm going to end the video by telling you a few of the best hill climbers from different categories. But before that, I just want to say that the Sandy Lane leaderboard is just a measure of what a bike's electrical system is capable of. You are still meant to be pedaling because that's the point of a push bike. and e-bikes are meant to be push bikes with electrical assistance. So as I've said, some bikes might not electrically be able to make it up the hill, but they might be easier to pedal than others. I do try each e-bike without power in my reviews, but if you ever miss that part, you can always ask in the comments. But as a general rule, look out for good riding positions and gears. They make hill climbing easier for someone who wants to pedal. And remember, it's not always a good idea to let the e-bike do everything due to this final thing that I learned.
Sustained travel up a hill where you're not doing much to help the bike can burn out controllers or motors. Too slow for the reader now. There. Oh, the speedometer stopped. Hey?
So here are just some of the records from the 100 plus vehicles to attempt Sandy Lane. The fastest e-bike was the Ridstar Q20 Pro that took 33 seconds, but the fastest vehicle overall was the e-scooter, the Joyor S10Z, which did it a second faster in 32 seconds. The fastest e-bike, hardware locked 250 watts, was the Crazybird jumper that did it in 1 minute 3 seconds. The fastest legal e-bike, under £1,000, was the Cyrusher Rumble, 1 minute 05 seconds. The fastest cargo e-bike was the Fiido T2 Longtail, which did it in 54 seconds. The fastest e-bike that cost under £1,000 was the Duotts N26, which took 36 seconds. That's right, it is a dual motor e-bike. The fastest folding e-bike is the Lankeleisi X3000 Max, which did it in 42 seconds. That is a dual motor. So the fastest folding single motor e-bike is the Vitalan i7 Pro 2, which did it in 51 seconds. The fastest e-bike with a drop frame was the Engwe E26, which did it in 1 minute and 2 seconds. Links to the reviews of all of these bikes will be in the description below.
So what have we learned? You can't always trust manufacturers' statistics. There's a better word for that, but I can't think of what it is right now. Specs, maybe? But what you can trust is that I've taken all these e-bikes and these scooters up the same hill so we can see which ones were better than the others. So if you enjoyed that video or found it useful, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. But if you thought it was a total waste of your time, firstly, thank you for still being here anyway. Maybe you were off getting a cup of tea done. But give us a thumbs down and let us know in the comments why we were so bad so I can improve. Do share your experiences getting up hills in the comments or just say hello. I always like replying. And until next time, ride safe.